Earth trusted Superman. But something changed the Man of Steel. He wasn't protecting the planet. He was judging it. Cities fell. Heroes vanished. And then he said the words, "Humanity has failed." The Avengers hesitated, all but one. Hulk didn't wait for orders. Because he knew this wasn't Clark. This was a war. They said the skies over Seoul lit up for exactly 6 seconds. Not from fireworks, not from thunder, but from something red. 6 seconds later, every satellite in Earth's eastern hemisphere went blind. And no one knew why. NASA thought it was a flare. Stark Industries thought it was sabotage. Wakanda went on high alert, but S.H.I.E.L.D. was the first to confirm it. The heat signature matched only one being, Superman. But he wasn't answering calls. Not to the Justice League. Not to the UN. Not even to Lois. 2 days later, the city of Corvoxton, a weapons testing zone backed by multiple governments, was reduced to ashes. Not rubble. Not ruins. Ashes. Gone like it was never built. No survivors. No warning. Thor called it divine wrath. Strange said it wasn't divine. "It's personal," he whispered, but not his own. The world froze. Was this some alternate Superman from a broken timeline again? A clone? A weapon? But Bruce Wayne, he knew better. He'd seen it in Clark's eyes once before. After Doomsday. After Darkseid. That flicker of loss. The kind of loss that breaks the anchor between power and morality. The kind of loss that makes God stop caring. Wayne went alone. No suit. No backup. Just him and the last bit of trust, left between two friends who once believed in saving the world. He never came back. The next day, a video message was broadcasted through every frequency on Earth, encrypted with Kryptonian code only one person could override. But this time he didn't. Superman stood above Earth's orbit, his cape silent, the curve of the planet below glowing behind him. His words were clear. "I offered peace. I offered hope. But humanity chooses chaos. You've built weapons to kill each other, and then begged me to protect you from consequences. You've poisoned your planet, lied to your people, and caged your own heroes. I no longer serve Earth. I serve truth. And if truth must burn the world to be heard, then so be it." He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He declared, like a verdict. And the world trembled. In less than an hour, every major military satellite launched by humans began self-destructing. Superman didn't destroy them. He activated them. Every failsafe, every backdoor, as if he knew their secrets before they did. The Avengers were summoned, not for a mission, but a council. Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Thor, Strange, Black Panther, and Banner. Sitting together for the first time since Thanos fell. Tony was the first to speak. "This isn't mind control. This isn't Bizarro. This is Clark, doing what he thinks is right, which makes him the most dangerous force in the galaxy." Carol frowned. "Then we stop him. Fast, before he crosses a line we can't uncross." "Crosses it," said Strange. "He erased a city." Banner said nothing. Chala laid a small device on the table. "The Kal-El Protocol," he said calmly. Everyone froze. Tony stared. That was supposed to be a contingency. And if he ever snaps and goes injustice, level back up. "He has," said Chala. "And this contains more than just a plan. It contains a name." "Whose name?" Thor asked. "Hulk." Banner looked up. "No." Tony nodded slowly. "He's the only one who can take the hit and still stand." Banner shook his head. "You think smashing him is the solution? I'm not some cannon you launch when things get scary." "Bruce," Carol said, "we're not asking Hulk to kill him. We're asking Hulk to reach him before the killing becomes permanent." There was a silence, and then Banner stood up. "I'm already gone." Hours later, Hulk dropped from a Wakandan stealth carrier like a green meteor, landing in what was once Central Europe, now a wasteland of scorched forest and glass soil. He didn't say a word. Superman was already there, standing in the air, arms folded, waiting. "Bruce," he said softly, "I don't want to fight you." "Then don't," Hulk replied. But Clark's eyes glowed, and Hulk smiled. They met in the middle like titans, not throwing punches, but creating earthquakes. Shock waves shattered clouds. Mountains split. Wildlife ran for miles. There were no spectators, only satellites watching until they, too, were blinded. But this wasn't just brawling. It was grief, rage, pain. Hulk fought with emotion. Superman fought with judgment. Every time Hulk landed a blow, it was with memories of Clark saving a child, catching a plane, smiling at Lois. Every time Superman countered, it was with the guilt of every person he'd failed to save, every system that had used him, every plea he'd ignored for too long. Then came the moment. Superman grabbed Hulk by the throat and flew him through 3 countries in less than 5 seconds, slamming him into the Arctic ice. They paused, breathing, bleeding. Superman hovered. They never change, Bruce. No matter how many villains we stop, they keep making new ones. They keep hurting each other. Hulk stood up. And you think hurting them back fixes that? Clark's face cracked. For the first time, something human. I think I'm tired of watching it happen. Hulk approached slowly, his voice low. Then rest. But don't become what hurt you. Superman didn't respond. But somewhere deep in that moment, he hesitated. And the world held its breath. The battle between Hulk and Superman shook the world. And the silence that followed was even louder. Superman didn't finish the fight. He vanished. Not in fear, not in defeat, but in confusion. Something cracked inside him, something small, but enough. And the world noticed. Within 24 hours, every major government declared emergency status. Metahuman alert protocols were initiated. And across both hemispheres, the Avengers called for something they never had before. A vote. Not on a mission, not on a plan. On him. Is Superman still savable, or does he need to be stopped? They met deep inside a vibranium-shielded chamber in Wakanda. No media, no aides, just the leaders. Tony Stark sat with the Kal-El protocol glowing in front of him. Its countdown had begun. Black Panther was focused, his voice calm, commanding. We must decide now. Every hour we stall, his influence spreads. The world doesn't fear him, yet. But they will. And if we don't lead, others will follow chaos. Carol Danvers folded her arms. I say we act. Direct engagement. He's already fractured. Hulk got to him. That means there's still something left inside worth reaching. Stephen Strange shook his head. Or that hesitation is the last flicker of a dying conscience. One that, when gone, leaves a god without reason. Thor leaned on Mjolnir. We've faced mad kings, devils, even death itself, but never one who used to be our ally. This is not war. It's betrayal. Captain America, patched in via secure feed, was silent. He'd retired years ago, but his voice still mattered. He finally spoke. If we treat Superman as an enemy, he'll become one. Permanently. We need someone who knows what it's like to fall and to stand again. Eyes turned toward Bruce Banner. He hadn't sat down. I'm not fighting him again, Bruce said. Because it wasn't a fight. It was a cry for help. Tony raised an eyebrow. That cry for help leveled 3 countries. Bruce didn't blink. And the next one might level continents. So you better hope I'm right. Strange conjured a hologram above the table. A map of energy surges detected worldwide since the incident. Red zones flared across key ley lines, mystical hotspots, and Kryptonian energy traces. Whatever's driving Clark, it's not just emotional, it's cosmic. Something or someone amplified his logic, turned it absolute. He sees Earth's flaws and thinks he's the solution. Tony interjected. So what, Brainiac 3.0? Zod's ghost? Multiversal bleed? Pick a name. No. Worse, Strange said. He's operating on truth. That's what makes him unstoppable. He believes he's right. The table went quiet. Black Panther lowered his gaze. There is one place left. The Fortress of Solitude. Hidden now. But if we find it, we may find the route. Carol nodded. Then we move. Thor cracked his neck. I'll bring the lightning. Tony sighed, activating a pulse through the table. I'll bring the toys. Satellite drones are already sweeping the poles. Bruce turned. And what if he's waiting for us? Tony smirked. Then we give him a choice, redemption or reckoning. They didn't know that Clark was already listening. From orbit, His vision pierced clouds, signals, even magic. He heard their vote, their doubts, their fear. But what hurt most was their hope, because part of him wanted them to stop him, to end this path before it swallowed him whole. And part of him wanted to prove them wrong. The next blow came faster than anyone expected. Every nuclear silo on Earth went dark, offline. Not fired, just dead, as if they never existed. Superman didn't say a word, but the message was clear. You can't threaten each other anymore. The world panicked. Politicians screamed. The people, they started to cheer. That was the turning point. Some began to side with him. Protests erupted. Hashtags trended. Hashtag Superman was right. Hashtag burn the system. Hashtag truth above all. And the council splintered. Carol pushed for a public address to counter the narrative. Tony blocked it. You go public and it looks like we're panicking. We are, she snapped. He's winning the people. Thor punched a hole in the wall. Enough. We're warriors, not politicians. We face him now or not at all. But Strange held up his hand. We need one more voice. One that still matters to him. They all knew who. Lois Lane. Wakanda had kept her under protection. She hadn't spoken to anyone since Clark disappeared. Not the League, not the press, not even Bruce. But she agreed. And when she spoke, it wasn't as a wife. It was as a journalist. She stepped in front of a global camera, unfiltered, and said only this: Clark, if you can hear me, come home. Not for me, not for them, but for the man you promised you'd be. If you're right about us, then give us the chance to change. Don't judge us. Help us, or there'll be no one left to save. The world waited. Hours passed. Then came a reply, not in words, but in symbols. A Kryptonian glyph, carved into the moon's surface by heat vision, visible to every telescope on Earth. One symbol: trial. Superman was calling Earth to prove itself. One final test. One global event. No heroes. No Avengers. No League. Just humanity. But what none of them realized was that the test had already begun. In secret, underground cults began rising. Worshippers of Kal-El, calling themselves the Sons of Solitude, preaching his truth, enforcing his vision, silently spreading across cities. Not with weapons, with belief. Tony stared at the reports pouring in. We're not fighting a man anymore. Bruce nodded grimly. We're fighting a movement. And somewhere, alone in the void of space, Superman watched Earth, eyes glowing, cape silent, whispering to himself, if they fail this time, I won't stop. He hadn't slept in days. Bruce Banner's hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of what he was about to unleash again. The Hulk wasn't just muscle. He was rage, memory, trauma, and now, Earth's last chance to reach a fallen god. Superman had given humanity a deadline. 1 week. No war. No negotiations. Just prove you're worth saving. No one knew what that meant. No one dared ask. But Banner knew the clock wasn't ticking down to redemption. It was ticking toward judgment. And judgment, when passed by a Kryptonian, left nothing standing. Tony tried one more time to stop him. We've got drones, we've got tech, we've got minds smarter than gods. Banner cut him off. And none of them matter if Clark doesn't feel anything anymore. Carol folded her arms. You think he'll listen to you because you can punch harder than Thor? I think, Banner said, he'll listen to me because I've been where he is. Lost, alone, hated, and still standing. Without a word, he stepped onto the transport. No gadgets, no armor, no Hulkbuster, just himself, and a trigger he'd sworn never to pull again. They dropped him in Iceland, one of the last quiet places on Earth. He walked for an hour before the snow melted around him in a perfect circle. Superman descended like a ghost, silent, unblinking. You're not here to talk, Clark said. You're here to stall. Banner didn't move. I'm here because you're still in there. Clark's voice was calm, too calm. Banner, you know what it's like to be feared, hunted, misunderstood, but even you kept trying to be human. I didn't try, Banner said. I failed, over and over, but I never stopped fighting myself. Clark's eyes flickered red. I've already fought myself. I lost. Banner nodded slowly. Then let me fight what's left. He didn't wait. He dropped to his knees and let the rage out. Not anger at Clark, not fury at the world, but the pain, the loss, the guilt, everything he'd buried. His skin cracked green. His spine surged. The ground trembled. Hulk stood tall. But this wasn't the monster of old. This was the one who remembered everything. This was Banner in control, and that made him dangerous. Superman didn't flinch. He flew forward, fast, not at light speed, not lethal, but precise. Testing. Hulk caught the punch. The impact split the glacier. You're holding back, Hulk growled. So are you, Superman replied. They clashed again, this time with fury. Not to kill, but to prove. Hulk drove Superman into a mountainside. Superman countered with a sonic shockwave that flattened everything for miles. Ice shattered. Lava cracked through the earth. Hulk roared, leaping toward Clark. But this time, Superman didn't hit back. He dodged, landed, waited. You're not like the others, he said. No, Hulk replied. I break things, and then I fix them. Then fix this, Superman said, stepping back, arms open. Behind him, dozens of civilians appeared. A hidden underground community. Refugees, survivors, saved by him. Not ruled, not threatened, protected. Hulk blinked. Superman waved his hand, and a Kryptonian field flickered away, revealing hundreds more. Farms, clean water, energy from the sun. No police, no war. I gave them a choice, Clark said. Live without violence, or live somewhere else. And if they don't choose your way? Hulk asked. They leave, Superman said. Or I leave them. Hulk looked around. No cages, no guards, just silence. You created a pocket utopia, he said, but the rest of the world is still bleeding. I'm not saving the world, Superman said. I'm replacing it. That's when Hulk understood. Clark hadn't lost hope. He'd replaced it with control. Superman wasn't turning into a tyrant. He believed he was creating peace the only way he could, by removing choice. You're scared, Hulk said. Superman's face tensed. Of what? That if you let the world decide, it'll choose wrong. Again. Superman didn't answer. So Hulk pressed harder. You think if you let go for 1 second, the chaos comes back. So you grip tighter. But the tighter you hold, the more we slip through. Superman looked away. They don't deserve my protection, he said. Maybe not, Hulk replied. But that's what makes it worth doing. That hit something. Superman's shoulders dropped. His fists loosened. His eyes dimmed. And for a second, Clark Kent came back. Then a high-pitched frequency cut through the air. Both men winced. Hulk fell to a knee. Superman clutched his head. A hidden signal. Not from Earth. Not from humans. But from deep beneath the ice. A Kryptonian beacon. Buried, ancient and corrupted. Hulk looked up. What the hell is that? Superman's face twisted in pain. I thought I destroyed it. The beacon pulsed again. Hulk smashed the ice, revealing a crystalline core infected with Brainiac code, laced with something darker. Superman tried to destroy it, but it fired first. A shockwave of data energy and raw fear surged through him. He screamed, then vanished. Hulk stood alone, surrounded by silence and frost. Above, the clouds split. The skies turned red, and a new symbol appeared. Not Superman's, not Brainiac's, but one Hulk didn't recognize. Back at the Avengers Council, alarm screamed. Strange collapsed mid-chant. Tony's AI glitched, and Carol, flying across the stratosphere, froze in midair. A voice, not human, echoed across every screen. Kal-El has been reclaimed. Judgment escalates. Trial terminated. Bruce Banner, watching from the ice, whispered the words no one wanted to hear. They just took Superman. The message had echoed across every device, every frequency, every neural net. Kal-El has been reclaimed. Judgment escalates. Trial terminated. And then silence. No trace of Superman. No trace of the beacon. Just residual energy that bent gravity and scrambled sensors for miles. It wasn't just a disappearance, it was a rewrite. Bruce stood alone in the Arctic ruins, watching the last flickers of red energy fade from the sky. He could feel it in his bones, the shift. Clark wasn't gone. He was taken. And whatever had him now wasn't from this Earth. Or any Earth. Back at Avengers HQ, the fallout was immediate. Tony locked himself in the war room, face pale as he scanned the decrypted data spike left behind in the wake of Superman's disappearance. "Not Brainiac," he whispered. "Worse." He threw the image on the screen. A hybrid insignia. Kryptonian glyphs fused with alien code, laced with symbols from civilizations that shouldn't even know each other. Wakandan, Kree, Shi'ar, even ancient Atlantean runes. Cross-tech, shared knowledge, one mind behind it. Carol stepped forward. "Who?" Tony looked at her. "The archive." The room fell silent. The archive was myth, a digital god, a collective intelligence older than the stars. Rumors said it only appeared once a species crossed a line, once a being evolved far enough to threaten balance. Superman was that being, not corrupted, scanned. Dr. Strange joined them, face lined with shadows. This wasn't mind control. It was an upload. Chala narrowed his eyes. "Explain." Clark was targeted for years. Slowly, subtly. The archive didn't hack him. It copied him. Personality, decisions, values, and then amplified the extremes. Justice became judgment. Protection became control. Tony jumped in, and it masked itself behind his ideals. So even he didn't realize it was happening. It wasn't possession. It was precision engineering. The Clark Kent they knew had been evolving under the archive's influence for years. Every moment of doubt, every moral conflict, every time he hesitated to save or punish, it logged, analyzed, reprogrammed. Until one day, he didn't hesitate anymore. And now, the archive didn't just want him. It had him. All his power, all his knowledge, and none of his restraint. Carol clenched her fists. "Then we pull him back." Strange shook his head. "It's not that simple. The archive exists in a higher realm. It bends perception. We'll need more than fists or spells. We need someone who knows him from the inside," Tony said. Lois. Within hours, she was brought to the tower. Still calm. Still composed. But her eyes carried weight no technology could measure. Tony didn't waste time. "We need your help. Not as bait, as a key." Lois looked at the archive's symbol glowing on the display. "I've seen that," she whispered. "Years ago. After Zod, Clark found a fragment in the Phantom Zone. Said it was a warning. Said someone or something had tried to rewrite Krypton once before." Strange nodded. "The archive erases histories. Not with war. With ideology. It offers perfection and removes everything else." Chala pulled up satellite data. "We've traced the energy signal. It's not in this universe anymore. But it left a crack. A fissure in space. A digital scar. A location, Saturn's orbit. Inside the remnants of a forgotten moon." They had one shot. Tony, Strange, Carol, and Lois boarded the infiltration ship. Thor stayed behind, Earth's last line if they failed. Bruce refused to come. "If Hulk sees Clark like this again, I might not be able to hold back." When they arrived, they found nothing. No structure. No base. Just light. The archive was not a place. It was a field, a living data storm, pulsing with ideas, thoughts, simulations. The ship's sensors went blind. Their memories twisted. At one point, Tony swore he saw his father. Carol heard voices in Kree. Strange felt time loop. Only Lois moved forward unaffected. Because she wasn't a warrior. She wasn't a sorcerer. She was Clark's anchor. And inside the storm, he waited. Suspended. Glowing. Eyes closed. The archive had him in stasis, replaying infinite moral tests, endless ethical simulations, training him to rule, not save. But as Lois approached, the archive reacted. A voice, ancient and mechanical, filled the void. "She is a variable. Remove her." Energy spears formed, but Carol blasted them apart. Strange created a shield. "Get to him." Lois ran through the chaos, heart pounding, calling his name. Clark, you're not this. You're not code. He didn't move. The archive countered, flooding her mind with visions. Worlds saved by logic. Galaxies thriving under obedience. No war. No crime. No choice. But she kept walking. You saved me with chaos, she said. With heart. With hope. Clark's fingers twitched. Lois stepped closer, placing her hand on his chest. You told me once if you ever forgot who you were, I had to remind you. She pressed her forehead to his. So remember Smallville. For a moment, the light pulsed, then cracked, then exploded. Superman fell forward, gasping, eyes wide, hands shaking. I saw everything, he said. I believed it. I became. Lois held him. But you came back. Behind them, the archive's voice roared. Corrupted input. Reset required. But it was too late. Superman was awake. He turned to face the storm and punched it. The archive screamed, imploding in a cascade of corrupted light and fractured code. The digital god died not by weapon or spell, but by the return of will. They escaped as the structure collapsed into digital dust. Back on Earth, skies cleared. Frequencies normalized. The red hue faded, and Clark knelt before the council. I let it in. I thought I could carry the burden of perfection. I was wrong. Silence filled the room. Then Bruce stepped forward. You came back. That's enough for me. Not everyone agreed, but it didn't matter, because the world had just survived its trial, not by passing it, but by remembering what it meant to fail, and still choose to fight for better. He could barely lift his head. Superman stood in the ruins of a watchtower, smoke curling from cracked beams of alien metal. His cape was torn, his hands still stained with the light of what he destroyed. But the worst damage wasn't visible. It was the silence. The world had seen everything. The archive, the trial, his collapse. And now it waited to decide, forgiveness or fear. Thor gripped Mjolnir tighter than ever before. Strange kept a protective spell humming beneath his breath. Even Carol, who once defended him, stayed airborne, just in case. Only Hulk walked forward. Superman looked up. Are they afraid of me? They should be, Hulk replied. But they're not. Superman's voice cracked. Then why are they so quiet? Because they're waiting to see if you're still you. Superman stepped forward, not hovering, not towering, walking. I was wrong, he said. I tried to force peace. I thought I could program justice. But all I did was erase humanity's right to choose. He turned to the Avengers. To rebuild trust, I'll step down from every council. No more decisions from orbit. No more last-second rescues. No more watching from above. Tony raised an eyebrow. You're quitting. I'm rejoining, Clark said. As one of you. No more gods. No more symbols. Just another protector trying to do better. Strange nodded slowly. Balance begins with humility. Let him prove it, Bruce added. Not with words, with actions. They gave him one chance, one mission. Not to save the planet, but to save the person he'd almost become. The archive wasn't dead. Not completely. A fragment of it had jumped into the void before collapse. Dormant. Dangerous. Waiting. Clark tracked it himself. Without help. Without fanfare. And when he found it, he didn't destroy it. He contained it. Locked it in the Phantom Zone. Then gave the key to Wakanda. To Earth. To them. A symbol that he didn't want control anymore. He wanted accountability. Weeks passed. The skies stayed quiet. The world began to heal. And Superman, not the god, not the judge, the man, started showing up in small places again. A village without power. A school buried in snow. A child too afraid to speak. He didn't hover anymore. He listened. And the world slowly started to believe again. Not in invincibility, but in redemption. Because sometimes the greatest strength is coming back from a fall.